Well, greetings, y'all, and welcome back, everybody else. A while back, I did a tutorial kind of type video on the leather slips that I make for knives. Here's one that I'm carrying today. Pretty thick, good piece of leather. I'm gonna do another little tutorial today on kind of something similar. I figured I'd just make a video, maybe it would catch y'all's interest. And for an example here, I'm going to use Mr. Hambone Blades card here. I'm going to make another leather pocket, I guess you could call it. Not really a sheath, but for business cards. I've ordered some cards for box cutter knives, and they'll be in a couple of weeks. So I wanted to come up with something that I can carry some cards with me in. I went and got some more of this leather that I get from Hobby Lobby. This is it's 8 by 11, 8.5, 8.5 by 11. And I went ahead and traced out a little bit here. I think what I'm gonna do is just from one piece of leather, instead of folding over sideways like the knife slips do, it'll fold top to bottom. So like if it's in there like that, you know, the card sticks out a little bit and it's about the same on both sides. So it'll fold over from the end, you know, and I left, you know, enough on the edges there to sew together on both sides. So went ahead and traced that. We'll go ahead and cut this out and we'll punch some holes and show a little bit of sewing and kind of see how it goes. I've ordered a stamp, a leather stamp that'll have like a maker's mark type thing that I came up with. If I can find the right place in the video, I'll put it up on the screen what it'll look like. I ordered it probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I finally got a notification last night, I believe, that it has shipped, but it's still going to be a week or two before I get it. So I'll obviously, you know, stamp all the things I've made once I get it. It's one of those heavy brass stamps, and it's got my name in it and everything, but I'll put a graphic up and show you what it'll look like. So we'll get this cut out and kind of fold over. The big thing is making these big enough to hold, you know, a small stack of cards, without it being, you know, too big to carry, or obviously you don't want to make it too small because you've wasted that piece of leather. You can always cut some away from it. You can't add to it. So we'll get this cut out and we'll go from there. Okay, so I think that's about it. It'll fold over like this. We'll trim it up, make sure these are even, clean that edge up a little bit. We'll run a line and some holes down either side and we'll get it stitched up. So there's the holes punched in it all the way through. We'll open these holes up with an awl, sew these together, and that'll sew up real tight. We'll clean up the edges, trim them up, maybe round the corners like we do on some of the slips. And that'll be it. We'll do a little bit of stamping on it. Like I said, when my mark stamp comes in, we'll put it on there. But yeah. So this is what I use. I think I've shown this before. Just take your time, one at a time on these holes. I just put it in and twist it once or twice, and it opens these holes up because these needles that I use, it's a blunted needle. I mean, it does have a tip on it, but it's not, you'd have to really poke yourself with it to actually stick yourself, but it's got some thickness to it. So you use one of these awls in these holes to open this up so those needles will work in and out. I'll show you how I do the stitching. I do like a saddle type stitching. It's been a while since I did that tutorial video, so I realize a lot of you guys may not have seen that one. That was one of my earlier videos. But yeah, I'll open the rest of these holes up. I'll get the stitching started, show you how I do that, and we'll get it finished up. Alright, so I've started on this end, worked all the way down, got to the end, and how I finish it. So I've got one end of the thread out one side, one out the other, and all the stitches are done, but I'll come back here to this one. I kind of finish all my leather projects the same way with these stitches around the edges. Maybe, you know, makes my stuff a little unique that way. Got, you know, one there, and then I'll have two down here. But it's just a good way to finish it, you know, without having to have the knot tied over the edge or anything like that. I'm just going to come across twice with each one. Grab the other one, come through. And that way when I finish, both of them will be sticking out the same side. I can just knot that up. And it will finish it. So yeah, just like that. And both of these are out like this. Cut this off. Move these out of the way. And yeah, we'll knot these up. And that side's done. Then we'll do the other side, and we'll come back and show you what it's like when I finish. I'll stamp my little feet on here. And yeah, like I said, when I get my other stamp, we'll come back and do that later. So I think this will work pretty good. You know, they'll fit in, stick out a little bit. There'll be enough room in there where I'll be able to put, you know, several. So yeah, I think that'll work out pretty good. So that's it, all done. Got my little trademark stitches there. Tied them up on the back. Those will press down like on the slips normally do, but you know, nothing loose on the other end. It's just folded over. Yeah, I like how that turned out. We'll do some stamps on there. But yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all. Oh, dropped it. I appreciate y'all checking out the video. You know, sometimes I got this leather stuff, sometimes I've got the knife stuff, and trust me, I do not pretend to be an expert on either one. Again, I know there's a lot of guys out there that know a lot more about knives than I do, and there's a lot of guys out there that do a lot better leather work than I do, but I enjoy it. I've kind of been dabbling in leather for years now. I've made, you know, belts and sheaths and all different kinds of things. But I appreciate y'all checking out the video. Hopefully there'll be a few more of these in the future. Like I said, I'll get this finished off. I'll round these corners a little bit. Might even, I don't know, may even toast it a little bit. I don't know. But again, thanks for checking out the video. We'll see you next time.